Bill Murray is still the dude who's showing up in New York City bars and just like, I'm gonna go bartend now.
This is based off of honesty. It would be Mace, Puff Daddy, and Biggie.
I'm defying gravity. I'm defying gravity.
This guy's fucking insane. It's been a week.
I feel like I've aged 1,000 years.
Yeah, it's been, both of us have had, we're both okay. So we're recording this for anybody who's new here. We're recording, or new, like you don't know what day we record. We're recording this the Tuesday after the first big fire.
January 14th, where seems like the winds that ravaged Los Angeles have died down but are not done yet.
Yeah.
The news is still saying that there are more to come.
I had a show booked tonight in Ventura, and I went home to get like my camera and stuff, and my soon-to-be wife, I was like, "Oh, I'm doing a show in Ventura tonight," and she's like, "The fuck you are." She was like, "A fire just broke out there. They're under red flag, and the winds are picking up tonight." And I was like, she was like, "I know you'd like to do one more spot before the wedding, because I'm not going to get on stage for like a month." And she was like, "But no."
Yeah.
And I was like, good point. Yeah. You guys had to evacuate.
We did not have to evacuate.
But you did.
So we're in right now where we shoot this, we record this. We're in Tahunga, which is a neighborhood
It's far
in Los Angeles that no one knows exists. When we first moved here, we would tell people we're in Tahunga, and they're like, "Is that out by Ojai?" And the people have we're the same distance to the Eagle Rock Target as everybody else in Northeast LA is.
Is that your target? Your preferred target?
That is the preferred target. Yeah.
Yeah.
But straight down Foothill Boulevard is a straight shot to Altadena.
Yeah.
It is a 20-minute drive.
Yeah.
We watched. The Palisades fire was already well underway.
Yeah.
And wreaking havoc and destroying lives and homes. And I remember, so Watch Duty is the big app that
everyone got on real quick.
Yeah. I mean, I should show you my phone. I now have an entire app tab group of just called Fire, and it's just air quality, KTLA, and Watch Duty.
Where we live.
It's a coworker of mine was saying like this is a very generational problem. Like it completely is. But I remember with my wife who's from the Valley. She's a Valley girl. We watched the Eaton Canyon fire start at 10 acres. And I remember looking at that and we're like, they'll probably get that. And then 72 hours later, it's bigger than Manhattan.
It's crazy.
It's fucking devastating. And it has been, I don't know, but for you, it's been this emotional roller coaster of being okay and then watching all these GoFundMes pop up.
Oh, dude, it's crazy. We were watching the classic. We were watching the local CBS News, I think, or ABC on streaming on TV. They just had it like on, and we watched that for like the first 2 days straight. And then I was like, I'm going to go crazy. I have to stop watching this. So we kind of cut it off, and we just were doing the New York Times app check-in to make sure we're like good. And at the same time, like, yeah, I know 5 different people whose houses burnt down, which is crazy. One of them's on my board for today.
Oh God, we know. My wife and I did a quick tally the other night of just off the top of our heads.
Yeah.
How many people do we know who were just like impacted by the fire but lost their house?
Yeah.
And it was 20 families, not just people, families.
Yeah.
There are the unique thing about Altadena is of course I'm learning a lot about Altadena right now. That it was I didn't know it was a historically black neighborhood. It's heartbreaking for the black community. It was also a place where a lot of millennials starting families could afford
That's where my friends are.
Afford a home that their family could grow in. Not a huge home.
Yeah, working class. It slowly, like all black neighborhoods, became a working class artist neighborhood.
Sure, yeah.
Because of gentrification.
Yeah.
And so like a lot of and it was a pretty like boots on the ground union, like caterers, grips, stuff like that. Like the way like LA just crew life, you just push further east.
For sure, yeah.
So it's pretty crazy.
There's a lot of industry folks in my neighborhood, Tahunga, who are not actors. They're all grips or lighting directors or, you know.
And that's been the interesting thing about seeing a lot of this unfold on the internet is everyone being like, hey, idiots. Famous people lost their houses, but who do you think makes... There's 250 people or more on a set, and you know the name of one of them.
Yeah.
You know, like that kind of realization.
For every famous person, there's got to be 200 people you've never, like, that are just like in a block of text to the credits. That live in LA.
Yeah.
That in something, oh my God. So I'm going to be all over the place today, but there was a friend of mine who was an artist in Altadena. His house miraculously okay.
Hell yeah.
Covered in ash, toxic, cannot go back in it.
Yeah.
Shared on his stories, a Google Doc, like as close as we can get to a like comprehensive Google Doc of GoFundMe's, and there are 770 individual links.
Damn,
it's fucking, it's
crazy.
Yeah,
the weirdest thing, GoFundMe sent me like because I like donated to a couple and they were like, do you want to start one? Like, do you want to start a GoFundMe?
They
just assumed like, you know, and it was wild to me. There was a part of me that's like, oh, GoFundMe is probably like, fuck yeah, right now a little bit, which is kind of crazy that like GoFundMe's whole business model is making money off others suffering.
I mean, it's
like a good thing, but it also shows how fucked up the system is in America.
Oh yeah, like a GoFundMe should not.
It
should be for like student films that no one wants to watch.
Exactly,
that's what it should be for.
Our social safety net for healthcare and fire relief.
Yeah,
that's kind of what it is because our government is so shitty.
Yeah,
and hopefully that changes in
8 years.
Literally beat me to it.
Yeah.
And so, and on my side of things, I'm getting married on Sunday.
God. Yeah.
And my wedding was going to be in Malibu.
Yeah, which is a beautiful location.
Really beautiful. And now it's not possible. Luckily, thank God, our wedding venue did not burn down. So it's still standing. It's just who knows when they'll have electric or gas or.
These poor people.
You don't want to fucking parade a wedding up to and have like that amidst like the rubble. Like you got to like drive past people's houses and be like, you know, not even to like see it, but like it's fucking rude.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. It's a massive misreading of the room, let alone a neighborhood.
Yeah. And so we were debating whether we were still going to have a wedding. We had a lot of people drop out. And one of our friends sent us my soon-to-be wife's friend Alex sent us this really nice thing saying, like, in the Jewish tradition, after somebody dies, you're not supposed to celebrate for a year. And the only thing that outside of that is the exception is weddings. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, no matter what happens, you're supposed to have a wedding.
Oh.
And so we're just like, you know what? We should still do it. And then like a couple of people were like, yeah, we were going to get married in COVID and we kept pushing and it got pushed 3 times. And it was just like... So we had to replan a whole wedding in 9 days.
God.
And so we're still in the middle of that. Like literally, I talked to you about it right before we came in. We got like a crazy email. And we, you know, financially it's, you know, because we went from like a very affordable place to like a place that was open and is very nice. But like we definitely stepped it up. It stepped us up a little bit. And they were nice enough to come down a little bit, but it's still... You know, it's more than we were budgeted for.
Yeah, and it's also just quickly worth noting that LA went through COVID, which devastated jobs.
Yeah.
And then then there were the strikes, and then a massive economic hit where and like private equity scooping out and gutting our entire industry. And then it has just been so
now
hard.
BlackRock's going to come and try to buy up Altadena.
Fucking fantastic. God damn.
It's crazy.
So I was talking to some friends about this. It's like a 1, 2, 3, 4 punch of just like, we just want to I just want to live at this point. We just want to be able to make a living. It's not even like, come here to make rich and follow our dreams.
No.
Like, can I just stay here?
Yeah. Don't let my house burn down.
Yeah.
Do something.
Yeah.
All right. Should we skip over not skip over, but should we not, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if there's much more.
You know, it's funny. I think I used to own that shirt.
This
Total
one?
aside. Yeah.
I think this is from, who did I get from? Maybe on sale at J. Crew or something.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
I'm definitely in the phase of my life where like all the stores I would normally buy from when I didn't have a kid, I'm like, I'm gonna wait till there's some sort of like end of year 50% off, like clearance, get rid of it.
Dude, I just donated a bunch of J. Crew stuff that still had tags on it because I got it on such a smoking deal at like the end of a season. And I was like, it was this thing of like, when I get skinny, I got this.
Watch out, motherfuckers.
And because I just dropped 25 pounds for my wedding.
Incredible.
So I'm in.
What was the regimen? What did it for you? Was it exercise? Was it diet? Was it prayer?
Prayer. No, I know how to lose weight for my body. It's just fucking 2 hours of cardio a day and like don't eat carbs and sugar, and it falls off me.
Nice.
My favorite thing in the world are croissants. So that's like the thing I have to combat at all times. It's like, I just want to sit around, drink a cappuccino, have a croissant. And when I'm not in LA and I'm on tour, I like can hit the gym. I go for walks. And I was like touring like a maniac before my wedding to save money for it. So I dropped the 25 pounds. So there's some fat guy who's going to get all my clothes. And then there's a guy who's going to get my clothes who has the body that I want.
What are you going to wear? Because I feel like what clothes are left after if there's the two body types?
I have an inception level of clothes. Like I have clothes for every, because I've yo-yoed my whole life. I've been like skinny guy, fat guy, middle guy.
Okay.
I was skinny guy very short period. It was when I shot my 2021 stand-up special is when I was skinny guy.
Okay, we saw that in the last episode.
Yeah. That's when I was like, I think when I filmed that, I was like, if I had to guess, I was probably around like 180, 185. And right now I'm 210. So it's like, I'm trying to get back to stand-up special skinny so I can shoot another one, and then I'll just become a pig again. Really? Just kidding. I'm not a pig, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I've been, I'm a stressed out dad, and it's, as a skinny person my entire life, I understand that when I say I'm gaining weight, everyone's like, hey, go fuck yourself.
No. I know dudes like you have to gain weight.
It's difficult. It's difficult
hard to keep it on.
But now I'm 40, and like I'm still the same on the scale. I'm still the same weight, but like I went up 2 jean sizes in the last 8 months.
Yeah, it shows up in different places.
It shows up in different places, which it wasn't there before.
You'll have that picking babies up muscle again soon.
Oh, but that's just bad. Just back pain. Everything hurts. I'm exhausted. I feel confused and scared all the time.
But you got a good board for us this week. I
do. This will be a fun one. Do you want to do a quick news thing?
Oh yeah, let's do the news thing first.
I got a news thing. Which listen, there's if there's anything that can bring the creative people of Los Angeles together, it is a shared hatred for AI. And I can't wait to show you this thing that just came out. This is just a few days old. So I've already seen the clip, but this is reporting from 404 Media, which does a good job. CEO of AI music company says people don't like making music. He runs the company Suno. Do you know what Suno is?
It sounds like an off-brand Sonos.
Probably pick that name for a good reason.
Yeah.
It is, whereas, like Midjourney is for creating images from nothing not creating from nothing, stealing from everybody else and creating something from it. And ChatGPT is large language models. Suno can create fake music.
Yeah. Like in any style. A lot of like lo-fi kind of stuff.
No, with like lyrics. With like you could type in like write me a country song about like masturbating a crab, and it can get you one. Maybe not insane. Masturbating. I think there's probably censorship on it, but
I doubt it.
So this is. He was recently interviewed on which podcast was this? I think it's somewhere in here. A podcast I've never heard of. I'm sure it's great, but truly the most infuriating clip, and I can't wait to play it for you. Let's rewind here a little bit.
first and foremost giving everybody the joys of creating music. And this is a huge departure from how it is now. It's not really enjoyable to make music now. People enjoy
Why did you say
Suno.
that?
It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of practice. You need to get really good at an instrument or really good at a piece of production software. I think the majority of people don't enjoy the majority of the time they spend making music.
Do you not think that's like running? It is hard to run. It is painful to run. You don't particularly enjoy it, but you love running. And you get good at it, and you get better at it, and you speak to the runners, and they love running.
Most people drop out of that pursuit because it was hard. And so I think that the people that you know that run, this is a highly biased selection of the population that fell in love with it.
I'm jumping back and forth.
Okay.
Can you first reactions to this as I clench my fists?
One, this guy's not a person. I mean, like, the whole point of making music, people... I'm just like...
I mean, this is the same level of just like, huh? What? What is...
Like, the whole point is the process. Like, that's the point. Like, this guy is just like, who wants to have sex when you could just come when you press a button? People don't like sex. They like coming.
Why bother?
This guy
why bother
is
flirting?
definitely the worst fuck in the world.
Oh my God. Why bother flirting when you can masturbate?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And like...
A fundamental misunderstanding of why humans even drew on fucking caves.
Yeah. And also, like, they're not making music. They're not making art. They're putting in prompts. A computer is doing it. So it's like, this isn't making music. This is like...
It's requesting music. It's requesting music. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I like this kind of stuff. Can you make one for me? But it's like, this is the same guy who's like, yeah, I'd fuck a AI robot.
I hope he does. I hope he has a great time. And I hope he all falls into a loving relationship with like a fucking compact Presario.
And just lives at home. But like, it's hard is the reason you do it. That's why it's rewarding. Like, it's not going to be good stuff.
No. And I haven't even had time to fully process, any take on this. I feel like it's so obvious, but I just feel like it needed to be, I couldn't be, I need to share it with you, and I couldn't be alone with it because I just can't, the hubris of AI, I'm going to say bros, it's mostly bros, of like AI dudes.
This is a guy who wishes he was a bro.
It's all this fucking, like, okay. Throughout this podcast, there will be names of companies that I do not say out loud because there is a not small chance I might have to go work for them one day.
Yeah.
And I don't want that coming back to me.
Yeah.
There is a certain CEO. He said that I did not, but there is a certain CEO who did come out talking about how companies need more masculine energy now.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't say the name. I don't know what he's talking about. But it is just feels like this flattening or this absolute removal of not even like a feminine energy or like a soft energy of just like not everything is an aggressive pursuit towards collateral. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, here's the thing. All of those guys, like, did not feel like men growing up. So now they are overcompensating, and the person who they were uncomfortable being, they're trying to crush that by getting a personal trainer and a stylist, and they're never going to be the man they think is this idealized version of a man. They are weak boys trying to be an imitation and a hologram of a man. You see, he looks and talks like a robot. This guy hates art. He wants to make money off of computers and does not comprehend why a Rothko painting makes you feel something.
The feel something part is a huge...
These people don't have feelings. These are like weird autistic boys who don't understand why nobody wanted to fuck them.
And to our artistic friends out there, we understand.
Not all people are like that.
No, but there's a sociopathic tendency.
Yeah.
In a lot of these people.
You can see that in how they're all sucking Donald Trump's dick right now. Like, they're afraid they're going to get in trouble with daddy. They're just doing what they need to do to still be boy kings.
I don't have a lot of I'm not as snappy as usual. I feel like I'm usually a little bit quicker on this because I'm so wrung out from the last week. But fucking God, is this the last thing I wanted in my feed? Like, okay, so as you walked in before we were shooting, I had a meeting at work, and I was just telling you that right before this meeting, I saw.
I've heard of work.
Yeah, meetings. Have you ever been in meetings when you were at Westbrook?
Yeah, when I wrote on things. You gotta
meetings.
go. You gotta
meetings.
go. Yeah, you gotta.
You
go
understand? You've heard of this before.
Yeah,
You've heard the Wikipedia page.
Yeah, they don't make sense to me. It's
they
just
don't make sense to anybody.
Yeah, we could have just had this in an email or said, "What's up?" while we ate a donut in the hallway.
Oh my God. Regardless, I was about to jump into a Zoom meeting, which is somehow better actually, but right before. Excuse me. There was a video that I was just fucking around on Instagram 2 minutes before the meeting, and a video of, I think it's called Via's Tacos, came up that was just like them doing like a little sketch kind of thing of like they're on the guys on the phone with firefighters who are about to come in and get a bunch of tacos, and he's like, how many people? 150? They clearly are going to feed these guys for free.
Yeah.
And they do this funny thing where like, fat boy, we need you. And you see this guy in slow motion running to come emergency tacos. And I'm immediately weeping right before. And I don't, maybe you can help me connect these two, but like that is something that these guys made, and they're making food, and they made a video about it, and it's about like people and connection.
And it probably wasn't made that well, and that's part of what made it good.
Yeah, I mean, it's just them. It didn't need to be fantastic.
Yeah,
and it made me feel something so quickly, and something like I switched from crying of like grief for my friends, which I'm still processing, and then crying over the armies of Angelinos coming together.
Yeah.
For mutual aid, for donation, for cleanup. I mean, it is a humbling thing to see how amazing this city is with the drop of a fucking hat. And for someone to trivialize like all music ever made, to be like, the music's hard. Oh, fucking God.
Okay, so here is the thing with this kind of guy. This guy thinks this guy thinks music is math. He does not understand what jazz is. He doesn't understand it's what you leave out. It's emotion. No robot
what
can
music
have...
do you think he listens to? Is it Coldplay? Is it mostly Coldplay?
I guarantee this guy, I guarantee you...
Kanye? I just assume Kanye.
Oh my God. This guy listens to... Yeah, this guy secretly still listens to Kanye and doesn't really care too much about the anti-Semitism stuff.
I think he prefers late period Kanye.
Yeah.
I think he's a college dropout, not really for me.
Yeah, this is a guy who listens to what's supposed to be cool. Either that or he just like listens to... That's the fucked up part. The people I want to reference to be like, oh, he probably listens to like John Cale's No Music stuff.
That's way too interesting.
That's way too interesting.
I have a feeling this guy created Sunos just so he could finally have music he wanted to listen to, which is just like regurgitated, watered down nothing burger music.
Yes.
Maybe I bet you like the song the song he danced with his wife to was something he heard in an elevator.
Oh my God.
Or like a Target.
And also,
Imagine Dragons,
if you're this
Lumineers,
guy,
maybe.
if you're this guy and you see this video, I'm sure you think you're helping. You're not.
You're not. You're doing a bad job. You're doing a bad job.
Just like I know you don't think you're a bad person, but the point of making art is to learn a skill, to get good at it, to put in time, to feel a sense of connection to yourself and connect with other people.
And I just want to highlight the host's incredulous face after he says this.
It's a lot of practice. You need to get really good at an instrument or really good at a piece of production software. I think the majority of people don't enjoy the majority of the time they spend making music.
Do you not think that's like running?
Look at his face right now of just
he's like
grinding his teeth.
He's like, thank you for coming on my show. What planet are you from, weird alien?
Do you breathe oxygen?
Oh my god.
Where is it? What's it like
also,
out in space?
Great hosting job of like, hey, I disagree with you, but I'm not going to be like, what the fuck's wrong with you, weirdo? Whoever this guy is, 5 stars. We'll link you in the show notes.
Yeah, I think it's actually called 20VC. I don't know what it's about.
Oh, venture capitalism.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. Okay,
Yeah.
here's the thing. If you want to start a startup, if you live in Silicon Valley, I'm going to start a new service where you can come talk to me, an actual person, and I will teach you what real people actually want and need. It will mostly be me going, what? But every once in a while, we will find a thing that you can help people connect with. Also, by the way, AI software stuff to like help with engineering, I get that stuff. Also, nobody needs fake AI music. Go figure out how to solve fucking cancer or global warming with your computing technology.
Oh my God. So, I mean, like, I am not against all of AI. I mean,
I use ChatGPT once in a while.
I think ChatGPT can be a fantastic tool and a fantastic service. Some of the AI incorporated into the Adobe suite is incredibly useful. It does like take a lot of stupid work off my plate, which wasn't enjoyable for anybody. And I wouldn't really ever pay anyone to do because it's so small.
Yeah,
you know?
Things like Autopod, that app that we've talked about, like people who don't know how to use a lot of software stuff can now make a podcast and have it edited in 15 minutes.
I think it's great.
I think it's good too. And also people who can't afford to pay an editor.
Yeah, I mean, it's also it also can be a great training wheels. To be like, oh my God, look at, this is what a finished product kind of looks like, but is lacking a spark. Maybe now is a time to learn an instrument or take time to get through the pain and punishment of learning. I mean, this is like what this guy just said is the exact opposite of what they teach my child at Montessori school.
Yeah. Learning how to do something is how you learn how to be a person in the world and deal with, this guy's just like, do you not want to have to deal with being a person?
That's kind of at the heart of what a lot of this stuff is like, isn't being alive just so hard? What if we made some parts of it that were like ultimately like
the parts
pleasure?
That give you joy?
What if we streamline that?
Hey, you know how the part of your day when you don't have to work your shitty job and you get to be creative? What if we took that away from you and had a robot do it? This guy's fucking insane.
Everything about this is insane.
Yeah.
And I feel a little bit more livened up after really hating something.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
Yeah, this guy's an idiot.
Do you want to play this game I have for us today?
I'm so on board for the game. This week's board.
Yeah. I'm gonna pour myself some more water here. We're so dry out here in LA.
I'm going to check my wedding-related emails and texts. Nothing, just the Arsenal group chat about the transfer window and all the people who got hurt.
I completely fell off the bag.
You're fine.
The wagon.
Right now is a fine time to be off the bandwagon. We're really shitting the bed.
Ooh. Let's fuck this guy.
Okay.
All right. This is okay.
Wait, he's still on the board. I don't want to look at this fucking monster.
Get rid of this fucking thing. There we go.
Okay.
This I'm excited to try this out because this was a shower thought that are like maybe this could be something for us to play, especially with the cards and try and figure this out. You're aware of it's funny this become a meme. They have like meme generators now. You can kind of type in your own like date and the SNL index card, a bulletin board of who's going to be the host or who's going to be musical guest.
Yeah.
And like those now they get posted on social media when they're promoting it. It's its own unique visual language of date in yellow, host in blue, musical guest in pink. So I wanted to play around with this and I was thinking about this, I'm going to butcher it, but Lorne Michaels himself has this quote about something along the lines of like, your favorite season of SNL is probably the one when you're like 15 or 16 or something.
Oh,
like that.
Funny.
And I feel like, SNL is celebrating 50 years this year.
Yeah.
It's such a huge part of like every American's life, I think. I think a lot of people still have opinions on it, whether it's, like a bastion of, or like, a cesspool of liberal ideas. And like, I don't like it when it's not funny when they get political. They've been fucking political since day one.
The whole time. They were so political, one of them became a senator.
True. And now he's no longer.
But most people are like, I like the ones with their heads were shaped like cones.
Oh my God.
I did love the cone heads.
The movies were good.
The movies are great.
Repeat on Comedy Central all the time.
I'm a big Dan Aykroyd fan.
He's such a nut.
As long as you don't pay attention to him now.
So what I have designed here is, this is the first draft of the SNL game.
Okay.
We may streamline this. I would love to play this with other guests as we figure this out. But
I think this is a great for guest game.
I think it could be really fun. But we're going to streamline to see how long this takes, because what the game is, you can see I have your cards at the top, my cards are at the bottom. I'm covering them so we can reveal them as we go.
Okay.
The idea is the age you were
Yes.
at the top, and then who would be your dream host and musical guest for that age. So we have, we go from, you and I are, though we may look like we are in our early 20s at oldest, we are actually in our 40s.
I am 41.
I am 40. And so we go 15, 18, 21, 27, 32, and 40. I picked these years because I just feel like they are the most, in my head, stickiest years of like adult, like I've reached a different level of adulthood.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. This works for me. I like it. I think these are great years. And I like tied them to certain things, like, 98, freshman year of high school, 2001 year I graduated, went off to college. 2004 is when I just was living in Chicago. 2010 was back living in New York. 2015 had just moved to LA. 2023, I think I had just moved back to LA, or maybe was back in LA about a year.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, so just to quickly, maybe we can quickly just talk about what these ages really mean. Like 15 to me is like, you're like in America, you're probably 10th, 11th grade, somewhere in there. That is peak high school. 18 is like, you're kind of out of high school. You may be looking at the beginning of college. I think 21 is maybe senior year of college, something like that. 27, classic year, return of Saturn year, the 27 club year. It is a huge milestone, I feel like, in between. That is like the age between your 20s and then like arcing towards your 30s.
Yeah, that's 27 to 29 is usually when men start to get their lives together. Too.
Yeah, I think
I got sober at 29.
Oh, there you go.
Got divorced at 29.
Look at that. And then brains are typically finishing developing around.
Well, not mine. I was not cooked.
32. Can you explain why I put 32 on here? Because to me, it just feels like this beginning of like you're just in your 30s now.
Yeah, I think 32 is that age when you're like, oh, I'm an adult now.
Yeah, no one's keeping tabs on me anymore.
And like I think this is like 27 to 29 starting to figure it out. 32 is when you start to be like, oh, I think I know who I am a little bit more now.
Some people are starting families around this time.
Yeah, and then I will say...
In LA, you're not.
Yeah, I know. In LA, you're trying to get your first pilot still.
Yes.
And then at 40, I think, for me, 40 was the age where I'm like, oh, this is... I'm me. I'm cooked.
Yeah, totally. I'm relatively fully formed, and taste-wise, I'm starting to ingest less hot new stuff and kind of looking backwards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Look at, yes.
Like my list of new bands is, like when I was 27, it was like, I was.
Well, I actively seek out a lot of new music because I think it's like when you stop, yes, I do a lot of looking back. I'm like, because the time in my 20s when I was listening to a lot of like the sleazecore stuff really gives me a lot of juice when I'm trying to be creating artistically.
Still, same.
And being connected to my younger 20-year-old artist self with like all this ambition, but none of the skills that AI man wants to take away from me with 20 years of hard work. But now in my 40s, I try to actively seek out new music, new art, and not just new stuff from the artists that I already like, but like new people, because I feel like when dudes stop giving a fuck about new music and new art is when they start being old guys. It's like when you're willing to put on a pair of Kohl's shorts, you've given up.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, that's actually what causes VD. Or not VD, ED.
I'm so distracted. I need to make sure we are in fact recording. Yes, we are.
Okay,
sorry.
cool.
I just had
No,
a
no,
panic
you're
attack.
okay.
Exactly, we're recording audio. We are recording audio.
Okay, cool.
My head is barely screwed on these days. All right. The way I think we should do this is let's enter yours and then I'll reveal mine.
Okay, cool.
So what is it? It's okay. Host is blue, musical guest is pink. Who's your first host at age 15?
Okay. Sorry. Ask it one more time.
Who is your at age 15? Who is your host? Who's your musical guest?
My host, Ethan Embry.
Whoa!
Can't hardly wait, Ethan Embry.
Good call. Wow.
Loved Can't Hardly Wait. Hot movie. Really cool guy. It was either between him and Jennifer Love Hewitt, and Jennifer Love Hewitt, I believe, has hosted, but I think Ethan Embry would have been a killer host on the show, especially in that time period.
Yeah. I mean, that's like peak. Like, was he in Idle Hands? And he had a run of like teen movies where he was just like the Jonah Hill.
He was like the funny guy who was like charming lead or just like weird best friend.
Ethan Embry's the big guy, right?
No. Ethan Embry is. Hold on. For the people at home, you're gonna see this and you're gonna be like, oh.
Well, he's not big anymore, right? Ethan.
The dude who played.
Oh my
that
God!
thing you do.
Wait, who am I thinking of? Oh my God, he was
like Empire Records.
Yes, holy cow, even better.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Ethan Embry.
Who's the other Ethan from the 90s movies?
Are you thinking Ethan Hawke? Because that might come up again later.
Ethan Hawke. It's gonna drive me crazy. Maybe he doesn't have the name Ethan.
Oh, Heath Ledger? You thinking?
No, he played the funny fat dude for a long time.
The guy from like Can't Hardly Wait, not Can't Hardly Wait, from I Don't Want Your Life, James Vanderbeek, Varsity Blues guys.
No, it's gonna drive me crazy. I'll have to think of it later. But Ethan Embry. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Perfect late 90s. Did he never host? He's human.
And when you're a kid, that's like a guy who's a couple years older than me at that point, who I think is really cool. And you put this guy on SNL, let him host around the time of Can't Hardly Wait and Empire Records, he has a very different career.
I mean, sorry, but this guy, if he was in 2025, laid whenever he wants.
Oh, 100%.
Look how handsome.
I mean, look at him now. He's still got it together.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I thought this was like Daniel Craig for a second.
Yeah.
He looks great. He looks
if you go
great.
down, there's like him now with like a ripped body. There you go. Fuck yeah,
even.
Dude.
And I've looked a fucking hardcore band. I love this.
And I've looked him up before because I had like a project where I was like, who are like him and Matthew Lillard and all these guys? I was like,
Lillard, all these guys.
Matthew Lillard was also the other one that I was like, Matthew Lillard would have been a good one
SLC
for the
Punk?
board. SLC Punk came out right at this time.
Oh man.
And I'm a huge Hackers guy. So it was like Matthew Lillard, Ethan Embry. Those were the two fighting for my 15-year-old, very funny, cooler, older guys than me kind of board.
That's a cool choice. I think that's a really good one. So wait, what's the musical guest?
It would be, well, this is based off of honesty.
Please, you can see my answer is extremely honest.
It would be Mace, Puff Daddy, and Biggie.
Oh my God.
This isn't who I would pick now, but 15-year-old me, this is what I was rocking with at the time.
Just for SEO, we're going to remove that middle.
Actually, for SEO, we probably want to put that in right now. But like this was peak bad boy, like Harlem World had just dropped in the end of the year before. Like no one's bigger than Bad Boy Records. Ready to Life After Death was just about to come out, and like that bad like all that like you know, the bling, the watch, the And it was right when before SNL started like building whole sets for people's performances.
Oh yeah.
You know, so I think it would have been a cool, very New York, very, yeah. It's
That's
funny
a great
too because
one.
I was thinking the ones like before this too, and I was like, who I would have had, and like I wanted to find like a place to be like Nirvana,
Yeah,
and like all the other things that were like really influential. Because I've been watching the show since I was an infant.
Yeah, I mean, I think my earliest memories of the show are probably like peak Jack Handy years,
Yeah,
which were like
great years.
They melted my brain. Those Jack Handy
yeah,
jokes.
yeah.
I wish. There's a Twitter now or X Blue Sky. I don't fucking know. Your answers for 15 are so much cooler than mine.
I also almost went Christina Ricci, by the way.
There's a whole mess of like 90s hotties.
Yeah.
That like I can't remember if I put.
It was around the time of Buffalo 66, and I saw that movie at that time, and it blew my brain.
Okay. I think for 18, I debated between two different like gorgeous 90s women.
Yeah.
And I regret not choosing. I would have just regretted not choosing the other one no matter what.
Okay, let's see yours.
If I'm being again, we're being honest here.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna reveal the whole thing.
Weird Al and Weird Al. Great choices. I love it. Who doesn't love a double host, double guest?
Timothy Chalamet is about to do it.
Oh, really?
He's about to do his Bob Dylan songs. Best of luck to him.
I think he'll nail it. He's you know.
A buddy of mine who is in the band Lord Huron.
Yeah.
He did backing music for the recordings.
Fuck yeah, that's awesome.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I have a feeling I know one or two people who played on that too. Yeah.
That's incredible.
The double host, the host musical guest is like one of the greatest things in history. And 15, perfect choice.
I could have tried to pick something cool like this. Like I would say maybe a year later is when someone introduced me to like Southern California punk, and I was listening to like No Doubt and Sublime and all that stuff. But I don't have any older siblings, and I didn't have any older friends, and I was a nerd. So Weird Al was like
the coolest.
Was where music began and ended for me for a very long time.
You know, it's funny.
It was my first concert.
Yeah. There was a part of me for 15-year-old and a couple of them where I was like, I want Sandler.
Oh, wow.
And I wasn't sure where like he's on one of these, and I was like, which, you know. But like he didn't make the cut, but he was in my like, should I put where's the Sandler?
I mean, there's a lot of these.
Oh no, wait. Yeah, never mind. Yeah,
okay, We'll see. Weird Al, I think, is one of the. I talked to a bunch of like male friends who were in their early 40s, maybe not in late 30s anymore, like mostly in their 40s.
Yeah.
And the Amish Paradise Bad Hair Day album,
yes,
just kind of came out. I mean, and the funny thing about that album is that there's so much music years later I would then explore and be like, oh, like that Weird Al song.
Yeah.
Like I didn't understand or appreciate Trent Reznor or Nine Inch Nails, but and until many years later, and I go back and like, oh, that was on Bad Hair Day. So I mean, there's so much. Like I like say that I did not get into cool music for a very long time, but I did get into Weird Al version very early.
Yeah. Which is great when you're young because it opens you up to a lot of different avenues of different music.
And the same way The Simpsons like wired my brain for like classic Criterion Collection film. Like I didn't know that I didn't understand references to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest until I rewatched The Simpsons 4 years ago, when it was just like, oh, that was from the movie I watched 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You know?
And it still worked without you knowing the reference.
Absolutely it did.
Yeah.
Absolutely it did.
And it's crazy. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. That's a movie I watched once hungover in a film class and never want to see again.
Oh, really? You just
I left it.
Is that your like
just
tequila?
Being
Like I can't go back there.
Yeah. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is the tequila of movies. I'm done. One time, yeah.
What's that really shitty rum? It's not Tito's. What's the awful rum brand that was always in bodegas in New York? I can't think of it.
I don't know. But
Stoli? No.
Stoli's a vodka.
Oh, okay.
Um,
no, rum. Yeah, vodka. It was.
yeah.
Well, whatever. Yeah, we drink a lot of shit alcohol in New York.
Yeah. A lot of 99 bananas. You remember 99?
What was 99 bananas?
It was like a 99 proof liquor that tasted like Runts bananas.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's what you drank before going into the club when you were 16.
Oh my god. It's got to taste like candy.
Yeah.
Not for kids, obviously, even though it tastes like candy.
It was for kids.
Yeah. It's for
Yeah,
kids.
they sold it in little buckets by the front of the bodega.
Oh, good God.
You could just reach in
With
and
a
grab
hand-
a
just
couple.
like a handle.
Yeah.
You want to go to 18?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, yeah. Who's your 18 years old, a very tender age?
Okay. So this is when
You can vote?
I can vote. I'm also entering my more like pretentious years, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Or not pretentious, but this is when I'm really coming into my like, I love the arts. I like 15 to 18, like was the big cinema boom, all the like Kevin Smith stuff, who I debated putting on here.
Oh, God, I forgot about. I mean, there's those soundtracks. I feel like the Mallrats soundtrack, I think, probably had a huge
Love it. And then
place in my life.
So this is like around that like period. So I went with
Your host?
My host was Ben Stiller,
Ooh, good one.
and I went with that because of Royal Tenenbaums.
There's a moment in here on mine which is very Wes Anderson influenced.
Yeah,
a
yeah.
huge influence on my life.
And Ben Stiller is like show adjacent to SNL. Like,
Sure.
I was a cast member, wasn't a cast member. It's like, was he on the show for a year? He made
did, like,
short films for it,
Yeah,
but
he
like
was like a pre-Lonely Island kind of.
dude, where they
Yeah.
like gave him a budget, he did a thing, and then he went off and had his own show, and he's gone back and hosted. I think Ben Stiller also like, besides Royal Tenenbaums, Something About Mary, and like all these other like comedy hits around this time, I think Ben Stiller would have been my guy.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
I love Ben Stiller. And also huge fan of Severance, which is coming back like in a few days.
Yeah.
Did you watch that show?
I watched a couple episodes free on an airplane, but I'm not signing up forever.
It's really good.
No, I
It's
get it.
really fucking good. Oh my
No,
God.
I know, but I don't need another service, especially like I'm fine.
I love following him on Blue Sky, where he exclusively uses it to just like write about the Knicks. Like
nice.
live tweet Knick games.
Yeah, hell yeah.
That's like all he does.
That's what it should be.
And then reposting like deep analysis of Severance episodes. I'm like, this guy's fucking great. I love this.
Yeah,
I
he's
love
living
what
his
doing.
best life. I think he is one of the best directors ever. He made Reality Bites, which is one of my all-time favorite movies, and he can do everything.
He's fantastic.
He's one of some of the others coming up, goats. Okay. For musical guest, this was so hard for me because it was between two bands.
Okay.
And one was like the cooler of the two. But Kings of Leon.
Ooh.
And here's the thing. 2001 Kings of Leon is youth and young manhood Kings of Leon. So
yeah, how did you even hear about Kings of Leon in 2001?
Okay.
Because they probably didn't make it on my radar till 2003.
I was living in, maybe they were more 2003 that I got into.
Well, they would have been making music around then. It's just that they didn't pop up on my radar until
maybe you're right.
Because the Strokes entered my life senior year of high school, 2002.
Yeah.
By the way, we're allowing some fudging.
Yeah. Well, I took a trip. I lived in England for a little bit when I was around this age. And I took a trip to Ireland when I was like 21. And I remember seeing the Kings of Leon record everywhere in London, just in like VMH and stuff like that, like in the windows and MME. And they were very hip. England was hip on Kings of Leon and the Strokes before America.
I read about this in
Meet Me in the Bathroom.
But I either read about it, Meet Me in the Bathroom, or I know it was listening to, God, everything comes back to this. Incredible podcaster, Yassi Salek, who does the podcast Bandsplain.
Oh, I love Bandsplain.
Her house burned down in Altadena.
Fuck me.
Yeah. She is incredible journalist.
We follow each other on Instagram.
She's fantastic. I'm such a huge fan. She did a whole run of episodes about Britpop, specifically Oasis and Blur. And I didn't realize it was
the beef.
Yeah, and it's a huge phenomenon thing for like American bands to go to the UK to kind of like be UK washed, and then they could
come back with some street cred.
Yeah, and for some reason that was the ecosystem.
Yeah, the Strokes were the first one who did it, and then they just ran it. They were like, we're just going to run this.
Run the playbook again. Yeah. So you would have seen Kings of Leon 2001.
Yeah. So
the timing makes sense.
I was in Ireland. I was in a record store, and they were playing the record "Youth and Young Manhood," which is the best Kings of Leon record. They've made other really good records.
Those early ones were killer.
Yeah, but this is still the best. It's like one of them's 15 in the band at this point.
There's some awful stories about that 15-year-old.
Yeah,
that I'm like,
yeah.
Statute of limitations are up. But
Yeah,
that poor kid.
Yeah, child people, sexing, Usher, Puff Daddy, Biggie. Anyway,
keep going.
Bad boy. But fucking so. I was in the record store in Ireland, and I just said out, I picked up the record. I was like, I see this record everywhere. People say it's really cool. Walking around the record store, and then I said to my cousin out loud, like, this is so great. Who is this? And the guy was like, that album you just picked up 5 minutes ago. And I was like, oh, cool. And I bought it on CD, and I listened to it that whole trip.
Oh.
So it was like that, like post high school graduation, before going off to college, had this record, got it in Ireland at like a cool hip record store in Ireland.
So wait, 2001?
I think it was 2001.
Because my mom.
But I also went back to Ireland in 2001, 2002, in that time period.
It's funny just because my my mom's the Irish one of my family, and she secretly saved up for a trip for my family to go to Ireland.
Oh, cool.
Between my junior and senior year of high school. So this would have been like 2000, maybe.
Yeah, we went the day after I graduated high school.
Oh my God.
I graduated high school in like July 2001. And then the next day we were on a plane to Ireland.
We might have been in Ireland at the same time.
Yeah.
But it was us traveling as a family through Ireland, and like on some hotels catching MTV there, that I got into the Doves. Do you remember the Doves?
So this is the same period.
That
it's all
song,
the same band.
Pounding.
Yeah.
I still kind of get chills with that song.
Yeah.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that absolutely tracks.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Them. Yeah.
Man, Kings of Leon. Okay.
If not Kings of Leon, I think Portishead also would have been pretty cool.
Oh wow, that's a very cool option for. Honestly, oh wait a minute, I know which one this is. This is very telling. Shannon Sossaman.
No clue who that is.
Oh my God, yes you do. Before I even get to the band.
Yes, In Love. Was in love.
The pixie cut girl of the the 2000s.
She stopped acting. I looked her up recently because I was like, or maybe she hasn't stopped acting, but I thought I looked her up recently because I was like,
Brandon Lee have a child named Audio Science.
Brandon Lee, the Crow.
No. What's his name? From Mallrats? The Kevin
Smith? Yeah. Jason Lee.
Jason Lee.
Yeah.
I think Jason Lee either are still together or had a kid. I'm pretty sure the kid's name is Audio Science. Let's just see.
Jason Lee is
Audio Science. Oh, it's with Dallas Clayton.
I was gonna say Jason Lee is having a great second act
as a photographer.
In
Eagle Rock.
Yeah, he owns.
Hope his place is
still
okay.
there. She dates the guy from Almost Famous.
Dallas Clayton. I don't know who. I don't know what she's up to now. All I care about is
why is it
this period Shannon Sossaman
100%.
Wait, I want to go back to
90s hat.
Oh my God.
I would have been
Oh my God.
Yeah. Literally, it's like, it's funny, she to quote the Rewatchables podcast, she got market corrected by Angelina Jolie.
Oh shit, you're totally right.
If there was no Angelina Jolie, she has Angelina Jolie's career.
Absolutely. Yeah, completely. I mean, she could be a girl interrupted.
Yeah. She was interrupted by Angelina Jolie.
She's career interrupted.
Yeah.
Sorry, Shannon. I'm absolutely crazy in love with her.
Yes.
The other option I was going to go with was Rachel Lee Cook.
Yeah.
Who also, just like she's all that, just like tiny little brunette. I'm just completely in love with her.
Yeah.
Completely in love with her.
You went with the Jesse's Now's choice.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I was completely in love with her. And then, so this is, you've never heard of this band.
The Ataris?
The Ataris? Do you know the Ataris?
I've heard of the Ataris.
Because I went through massive emo phase
Yes.
in high school.
Yeah.
You seem to have skipped over that completely.
I had like little hits and pieces, like you know, got touched by some Dashboard Confessional.
Oh, Dashboard was big in my life.
And like some stuff around that period, but it never. And I was like hardcore adjacent, went to some hardcore shows, but like emo never really. I was never a big Jimmy Eat Worlds kind of guy.
Oh man.
Any of those kind of like swooped hair bands.
Yeah.
The closest I got to that was like indie sleazecore kind of bands like Hot Heat or like early Bright Eyes.
They did kind of They did kind of bridge the gap between. I was talking with.
Oh shit! I got to change Kings of Leon to. No. I was like Bright Eyes during that period, pretty big.
But there were these transitional bands that were like emo to like. Was the word scene in your vernacular around then? There was emo kids and scene kids, and scene kids were just sort of this transitional into like indie rock.
Okay,
cool. They did like scene would have been Hot Heat. It would have been like the like studded belt buckles and like tight jeans.
I had friends who kind of dressed like that, and I was like kind of coming out of a hip hop phase.
Sure.
And then slowly kind of turned into that.
Got it. Okay.
Like with the Strokes and the Kings of Leon, I went from like dressing like I was in De La Soul to dressing like, or not, maybe not De La Soul.
No,
like,
I mean but like a lot of men's fashion is leaned towards like
like
outside of the like one like the overalls with one thing undone and like a big pink
Naughty,
t-shirt.
you mean Naughty by Nature?
Yes.
Yeah.
Emo was a huge thing in my life. This would have like melted my head and groin if I saw this on SNL. 21. Where are we at?
Okay, this is 100% without a doubt Ethan Hawke.
Oh god, double Ethan Bill. What era Ethan Hawke is this?
This is before Sunset. Before Sunrise.
You were so much cooler than me
at
these ages.
I needed all this stuff. I needed all this stuff to prop me up and make me who I was, to feel cool.
It's amazing.
And
it's good. It's good taste.
Yeah.
I'm always impressed by people who have good taste at an early age, because I did not.
I was anything that was emotionally open, I connected to deeply because I was not.
Oh, interesting.
So like something that was like intelligent, artsy, and like I could tell like sensitive men made it.
That's interesting you put it that way, because when I think about
the opposite of the AI.
Yeah. Of where I was going, I was started getting into increasingly like chaotic, erratic, or angry, or cool, like dangerous cool music, because I was none of those things.
Yeah.
And that's how I was building myself up that way.
Yeah, in the same way got a personal trainer.
Again, I don't know who that is. And whoever runs one of these companies need to hire me one day, please let me know. He seems like a great guy. Okay, musical guest.
100% Wilco.
You were listening to Wilco at 21?
Yeah.
Like I was Summer Teeth?
Or I was living in...
What album is that?
This is 2004. This is Yankee Hotel Foxtrot.
Is it really?
And,
I guess you're right.
And Ghost is Born is right around here.
Yeah.
So like
shit.
The Wilco documentary is out. I was living in Chicago. I Napstered Pot Calling the Kettle Black because I read like a Rolling Stones article about how Wilco was getting fucked by their label.
Oh.
And so I had Pot Calling the Kettle Black, and then I bought Yankee Hotel Foxtrot at Kim's Videos on St. Mark's. And then had it, didn't totally get into it. Then I moved to Chicago, and one night drunk coming home, this dude was like, oh, and he put on Ashes of American Flag for me.
Fuck.
And it blew,
fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck.
This dude, Dan, and it blew my mind. And I was like, wait a second, I have this record. And I was living in Chicago. So it was a lot of like sitting on my fire escape in Rogers Park, drunk, 4 a.m. with like Wilco playing out as I watched the sunrise, hammered. It was like my, like, I'm living
You're taking me to a place.
Yeah,
right
I'm
now.
living in my artist in residence building that costs $500 a month. Like, it's one room about the size of this studio, maybe smaller. I have everything jammed in there, and I'm really trying to figure out who I am as an artist while I do improv. And drink my way out of film school.
Wow. That's one way to get out of film school. This is drink.
Start doing it. Yeah, just be a drunk and do improv, which requires no preparation.
Shit.
So like, yeah, this is when I had just come back from Europe. I saw Before Sunrise after I got back from Europe, which is good because otherwise that would have ruined my backpacking and living in Europe experience because I would have been trying to be Ethan Hawke the whole time.
Yeah, that would have been
and
tough.
It would have
tough
been
beat.
unbearable.
Yeah, it would have been terrible.
I would have been looking for romance even more than I was already looking for someone to love me. Yeah, and then Wilco was just kind of the soundtrack of that period of my life in Chicago.
Chicago, you mean all that makes more sense.
Yeah,
now.
also bands like Stars, Broken Social Scene.
Oh, yeah.
Like all of that kind of stuff too around that period.
Okay, I was maybe 3 or 4 years behind you on that. Yeah, when I think about like when I first heard, I now remember Yankee Hotel Foxtrot being advertised or like just talked about in this sort of like, holy shit, this album. And I remember listening to it. I'm like, this is elevator music. This is what I hear when I'm waiting for my doctor. This is terrible. I didn't get it. There's so many albums that I have to like. Fugazi is a band that I like could not give a shit about when I first heard them.
My best friend has a Fugazi tattoo on his back, and I was like, whatever. And then in Chicago in this time period, there was a band. This is how fucking hipster Chicago was, and how fucking peak cool like alt rock Chicago was. We met these girls. I forget exactly how we became friends with them. And they were in a choir called the Pabst Blue. They were called the Blue Ribbon. I can't remember the name of it, but they got together and they did like a cappella versions with like, but it was like a giant group of like 30 people, and they would do like
acapella.
They would do like waiting room. And like, but it wasn't like a cappella. It was like a group of people doing, or like, Where Is My Mind? And they would go and do performances. I don't know if I hate this or not. It was so good. And both these girls were so cool.
Acapella is to me, when people talk about acapella, it's the same way to me when people talk about like musical theater. I'm like,
acapella is the wrong word for it, but yeah.
But it's this thing of like, what a fucking dweeb. And then if I'm in a room experiencing it, I'm crying.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yes. It's the thing where you go, fucking theater nerds. And then you're like
I'm defying gravity. I'm defying gravity.
I was thinking the Cherry Orchard, for sure. Yeah. But I also was a huge musical guy. I don't want to pretend like I wasn't. West Side Story, Newsies, all those things. I wanted to be those things as a kid. Okay, let's see your 21.
What was my 21? Oh man!
I picked
a good. I might be
knocked out of the park.
I might be fudging the numbers on this a little bit, but
I can live with that.
This, I mean, okay. So this is my Wes Anderson thing. I looked it up. This is not exactly The Life Aquatic.
It is The Life Aquatic.
The year.
Oh,
I'm 21.
We have different 21s. Yeah.
Yeah, but Bill Murray is still the dude who's showing up in New York City bars and just like, I'm gonna go bartend now, and like there is this like
Bill Murray's just around doing cool
There's
stuff.
Bill Murray lore in the air.
He's popping off in Jim Jarmusch movies. The Oscar, not winning the Oscar, kind of broke him a little bit for a little bit. It kind of sent him down a weird path.
He got weird.
Yeah.
And so this is
Lost in Translation, Bill Murray.
That's exactly what this is.
Which is like my favorite Bill Murray.
I mean, it's like,
and I'm a kid of Ghostbusters and early SNL. So
yeah.
Fuck. This is a great one.
This is a really good one, right?
This is a great one.
And then
this is the episode, maybe even more than my own episodes. This is one where I'm like, that I would love to see.
Oh my God. And then just like, yeahs.
Sharon O just
fever to tell.
Yeah, Sharon O just the maps and kicking ass and
just riding around on stage. And I mean, this is one of the like, a lot of what I've picked here, I can't actually see Shannon Sossaman saying like, ladies and gentlemen, the Ataris, but I can, I do not need Midjourney. I can vividly conjure Bill Murray standing at 6'10", whatever the fuck he is, going, ladies and gentlemen, the yes.
Yeah.
And just 1, 2.
You even kind of got the voice right.
And then my head exploding into 1,000 pieces. This makes me so happy just thinking about it.
Yeah.
Do we need to talk about it any more than that? I mean, it's like...
No, it's perfect. That is a perfect SNL episode from that time period.
Oh, my God.
Mine would have been like him being all cool, like ladies. And also, by the way, Ethan Hawke and Jeff Tweedy are friends. Jeff Tweedy did the music for a couple of different
This
Ethan
also
Hawke
would have been
movies.
very cool.
Yeah.
Now this makes me curious, like, who's the cat? Who would be the cast when I was
Oh, my God.
Right?
Okay.
2027, very transitional year.
Yes. Okay, this one was so tough for me.
This This is a tough one.
So for hosts, I went with Allison Janney.
I can't. Is this like West Wing era?
It's post West Wing, post Juno. She's starting to have that like film career, Allison Janney.
She's a fantastic like treasure. She's
one of the greatest to ever do it.
Do you know that I have a West Wing tattoo?
What?
Hold on, where is it? Where is it? Here we go.
How do you know?
Shibboleth. That episode. I already forgot what the episode's even about, but I had a dream. I was getting into West Wing very, very deeply.
I fucking love that show.
And
we're watching Newsroom right now at home.
Oh my god, is it? I never actually got into Newsroom. I was a defender of Studio 60 and the Sunset Strip.
So was I.
Even knowing it was bad, I was still. I felt like I had to go to bat.
No, because as a person who believes that comedy can really make a difference,
I felt the same way.
And also, I was a big Sports Night guy.
Oh,
back in the day. We had it on DVD after it was canceled, like early DVD days.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
I went back to Sports Night after West Wing because I got into it after a roommate got into West Wing, and then I was watching over her shoulder. And now I have a fucking tattoo of it.
I got one of the opening jokes of my new hour is about West Wing.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And the current state of politics.
I paid money to masterclass.com so I could just watch the Aaron Sorkin masterclass on writing.
Nice. I had a subscription for a while. I did it for the Spike Lee, Judd Apatow, Martin Scorsese.
And then I repaid for it so I can do the St. Vincent masterclass. I don't even play music. I just
want to hang out with Annie Clark.
I just want to hang out with Annie Clark right here and talk about guitars.
The food ones are great. I did the what's her name? Allison Waters, who runs Chez Panisse. Mm-hmm. And I learned how to cook during the pandemic doing masterclass.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Allison Janney, I support anything with Allison Janney, even a rhetorical SNL episode.
Oh, she's the best, and I think she would be an absolute
killer
so
host. Funny. She's one of those
people so versatile. Like, think about her in I, Tonya playing that like smoking bitchy mom. God. Think about her playing like the elegant
drama. She can do comedy.
She's one of the greatest actresses of our lifetime. Okay, so
musical guest.
I wanted to put Arcade Fire or The National. But I'm not going to.
Okay.
This is a part of my life where I'm getting very... my vinyl collection has probably peaked. It's at its all-time. And I'm really, at 27, getting into nostalgia because I've always been nostalgic. And
you're finally at an age where you have enough time you can actually look back on.
Yeah. And like, so much of my taste is shaped by the music my parents listened to in the 70s, growing up like just outside of the 70s, early 80s and 90s. So this, and I've been a huge lifelong fan of the show. Paul Simon.
Whoa. Okay. This I could actually see very much happening. I can see Lauren just calling Paul to come in. And
he takes a couple bats every few seasons.
Is this on any kind of Paul Simon album or just get him in?
Get Paul in.
I can't tell you how happy I am that you put this on there because I was always trying to find stuff that was just like, for these cards that were like relevant to the time that felt like that would have been, publicists would have been involved to make it happen.
Some of them I did so many
episodes that are just like, whoever bailed or canceled and they couldn't make it.
Call Mulaney.
Call Mulaney and get Mick Jagger, and you can get 10 more. You can do like 10 times in a row, and people can have a good time.
Yes, it's like, oh, we're fucked.
I think this is very true to the SNL spirit.
Yeah, I think this would be the episode of the season everybody talks about.
Oh yeah,
you know, like Allison Janney just has those one or two sketches that go crazy.
Do you remember Split Sider?
Yeah,
I could see Split Sider.
Oh my god, that guy Sean. I know. Oh no, he was the comic guy. But yeah, I remember Split Sider.
They were doing all this like they were treating SNL like it was like a national like a sports team.
Yeah.
So and so got this many. Here are the highlights of the week.
Yeah.
I could see this being one of those episodes where like we should have expected it, but Jenny killed it.
Yeah, and this is like the period when she's like stepping out from the TV show, being more of a movie star, and the show was on NBC.
Yeah.
So she's in the NBC family, and then like put her with somebody classy, Paul Simon.
Come on, put her with something classy.
But also I do.
She's a dame.
I love the mix of like Arcade Fire also would have been cool around here too, because it would have been cool because this is I think around Suburbs or like Vampire Weekend second record, and I could see her.
Times I tried to put Vampire Weekend, I'm just like,
yeah, I could just see her being like, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Arcade Fire. But like, I think Paul Simon makes them. For me, like the show I would have liked to have seen at this time period.
And I'm glad you did that. Because
And then Paul Simon's in some sketches.
Totally.
Yeah.
He's playing stuff from Graceland.
Yes.
We're having a great time.
Yeah.
You can call me Al. She's on stage. Call me Allison. Maybe there's even a sketch where she's like,
yeah. There would be the sketch. The cold open would be, hey, have you ever thought about changing it to Call Me Allison?
That's
the cold open. We just or not the cold open. That's the weekend pitch for who's on the show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The interstitials.
Yes, you're totally right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a one-liner joke.
Yes.
Okay. So my 27 is very indicative of I just moved to LA. And I turned 27. My first birthday in LA was 27. And this is at the 2010s comedy boom that was happening.
Oh, yeah.
And I think the host is going to give away exactly when and where we are.
Okay. Paul F. Tompkins. Whoa.
Listen, obviously Paul F. Tompkins is like GOAT stand-up, right?
Killer. Like around this period, they do a thing in New York every year called Schnick or Treat, where comics dress up and do other comics acts.
Oh, that's
like
funny.
People do like George Carlin. They'll do like Richard Pryor. I did Paul F. Tompkins.
Did you
around this period?
Oh my God.
Like me in the suit around Freak.
You have the mustache.
Yeah, Freak Wharf, Paul F. Tompkins.
Oh my God.
And it was great.
I was at the recording of the special. Is it King Hat? Is that the name of the one? The one with the King Hat joke.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about?
I think so.
It's like one of the best special. I think it was maybe his last Comedy Central special.
Yeah, he's one of those dudes who, he also worked on and wrote on Mr. Show. So he is sketch adjacent, friends with Bob Odenkirk. You could see how this could happen.
Yeah. It's unlikely that it ever was going to happen.
No, he never got famous enough.
He never got famous enough, and but in the world, I'm deeply involved at UCB at this time.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Comedy Bang Bang.
Bang Bang is like maybe a year out from having an IFC show. Portlandia, maybe has started yet or is about to start. It's just this kind of like all these New York comics had come to LA to kind of make good, and and podcasting in general was just blossoming. And Paul was on every single one, and I probably listened to every single one that he was on. And this is way before BoJack Horseman. So
I didn't even know Paul was on that, but
he's one of the main characters.
Okay,
Mr.
cool.
Peanut Butter, the dog. And he was great on that. But he was there was a time where I thought Paul F. Tompkins was just kind of like the peak of what a comedy career could be, and that he seemed to be doing it on his own terms.
A really cool thing then called the Paul F. Tompkins. I think it was the 300, but it might have been 5. If you could get 300 people to commit on a Facebook group in a city to go see Paul F. Tompkins,
I remember this.
He would fly there and do a show.
It's amazing.
Yeah, so smart. That's like what I'm trying to do now. Pretty much. And I'm like, this guy was doing it while I was like just starting out in Staten Island. Because I tried to get him to come to Staten Island. He was like, I just played New York. It's not going to happen. I was like, all right, makes sense.
Fair enough. Do you know this band Polisa?
Never heard of them.
Oh my God. This was such a moment in time. Really vibey, kind of sexy stuff. Just because you don't know it, I'm gonna pull up. Oh my God, there she is. Small band. I saw them play in LA. Her play in LA, and this album just was on repeat for me for a long time.
I've never heard of this.
Lemonade Pet Insurance helps
Pet
you cover the
insurance.
cost of your pet's health care.
We do not. We skip it.
This is not familiar at all.
Nothing. It's giving Mogwai and TV on the radio.
Yes. Oh my God. There's the distortion, and this very where the. Oh my God.
Nothing. But you got to cut it off so we don't get a copyright strike.
I can always mute it. Yep. But a hugely important band to me, especially that album. That was such a moment in time for me in LA when I was making LA friends, and we like. What was funny about moving here is that there's some folks from School of Visual Arts where I went to college that I knew them at SVA, but I was never friends with them.
Yeah, and then you move out here, and it's like, we got mutuals. Now we're all just friends.
And
now.
we were a crew for like a long time.
Yeah,
we were all just single and figuring it out. You know?
that happens. That happened a lot with a lot of the Chicago improv community. It was just like, you were 5 years ahead of me and on main stage at Second City, but we're here now and we don't know too many people, so now we're gonna improvise together.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
actually, one of those dudes is still a very good friend, an incredible musician, Mike Kroll. If you don't know him,
I know that name.
He's on Merge Records. He's married to Katie Crutchfield.
Does he produce music too?
I don't think he produces.
Okay.
But he does stuff with what's his name? The dude from Supergrass. Is Supergrass the 70s? Is it Supergrass or
Superchunk?
Superchunk. Sorry, not Supergrass. Superchunk. He's friends with that dude, and they've done some music together.
I think Tom Barry played drums in Superchunk.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he played drums in some band like that.
But so he's married to Katie Crutchfield,
and
Katie Crutchfield's sister. No, he's married to Allison Crutchfield. Which one is he married to? Sorry, he's married to a Crutchfield. I know her. I'm missing up the names right now. Anyway, the other Crutchfield is married to Kevin Morby, and so they hang out like they go to Kansas City for and then it's like Mike and Kevin and the Crutchfield girls.
I know Kevin.
Yeah, because he did the music for your special.
My special.
Yeah.
We never met, but we follow each other online, talk a lot, and the guitarist in his touring band is my good friend Cyrus.
There you go.
Yeah, which is like how it all kind of came together.
Mike was part of this crew I was in
during your Policia stage.
Yeah. Nice. I don't think he went to that show, but he was starting to play shows in LA too. We're rounding out the cards here. 32.
32. This would be for me 2015. Okay, so this one I went with. This was tough for me. It's torn between two. I'm gonna. So this 2015. This is when I moved to LA. I'm gonna go Dawes.
Oh.
Who just played on Jimmy Kimmel last night. Mm-hmm. And the reason I'm picking Dawes
as your host or musical guest?
Musical guest.
Okay. I saw him on the Jimmy Kimmel site he did last.
Yeah, I gotta watch it.
Beautiful.
Today. It's beautiful. I fucking love you guys. Griffin's the guy lost his house and they're having a kid in 6 weeks. And Taylor, their music studio that they just built, burnt down in the backyard. I know. I actually have some like Dawes stuff that's like really cool. Like I have a live record that they only sold on tour, and I have like a signed copy one that I think I'm gonna auction off at some point, and put all the proceeds to like fire stuff.
That's incredible.
Or might give to them because Griffin took a photo of like just a burnt Dawes record on the ground of their house, and I don't know how much of their own merch and memorabilia stuff they have left. So I might just be like, take these.
So you have it, to remember the stuff,
But 2015, I just moved to LA. Dawes is very much an LA band, and this is around the time I became friends with Taylor. So it would have been cool to go to the show. I've been to the show before a couple of times, 2 or 3 times. I was there when Taylor Swift hosted and musical guest, which was really cool. And and it would be cool to go and not just have friends on the show and writing on the show, but also have friends in the band. And I found Dawes' music, I think, through seeing them on Conan.
Oh.
So if it just would be cool to like friends on the show, friends in the show, friends writing the show. It's a hang.
At 32, this is also the age where you kind of like seeds you sowed years ago can be paying off for like, oh my God, I get to do this.
Also, weird thing, this was the year where I was like, I'm not going to try to get on SNL anymore.
Really?
Yeah. Because I don't know if I've talked about it on here. Like, I've done Punch Up on Colin Jost Movie. I've like been around the show, lots of friends hired. There was a couple of times people like wanted to try to get me hired, and then it was the year or two after a lot of that stuff was going on. I just moved here and I had new management, and they were like, "Do you want to try to get on SNL?" And I was like,
"As cast or writer?"
Writer. Yeah. I've never. I submitted some stuff for cast once, and it was crazy that I did that. And I was just like, so this was the period when I kind of like put that to bed a little bit. There was one other flare up after this,
but that must have been hard to do.
I just didn't. I just moved to LA. I was post-divorce, starting new life. And so it would have been cool for that fact to like go hang out, but it also would have made me be like, maybe I want to come back and work here, which happens every once in a while. You hear a podcast with some people, you know, you're just like, do I want to go try to write on the show?
The number of times of dreams you make peace with, still like an STI will like flare up. I'm like, oh, I got this terrible itch that maybe I want. No, I don't want.
Yeah. You listen to. And you know what? People who I know who are in the cast, it's fucking brutal. The people who I know who write there, some people do great, but you know, I know people who it's like fucking broken and people who it's like made their whole life. So it's a weird thing. And I've had friends on that show for like, at this point now, decades.
They themselves have been on the show for decades, or you through decades you've known. Okay,
both.
Yeah. So wait, who's your host?
So my host for this one was Ryan Gosling.
Oh, interesting. Well, tell me about this. Why Gosling?
This is like
what is he? Is he promoting something?
So this is two Goslings, right? This is the story.
That's the other podcast we're starting.
So this is peak Ryan Gosling is the hottest man on earth. Gosling.
This is Drive. It sounds like.
So this is Drive and Big Short Ryan Gosling.
Oh,
it's right in that time period. So
yeah.
It's like this is when everyone's like this is when Ryan Gosling becomes like Ryan Gosling.
This is like internet boyfriend or like meme boyfriend.
Ryan Gosling, period.
Yeah.
And so I was like...
Hey girl thing.
Yes.
Hey girl, I heard you were being oppressed by the patriarchy, that kind of stuff.
Yes. Yeah. And we learn later on, Gosling is one of
Absolutely
the greatest hosts of the show.
Oh my God, yeah.
So this would have been him a little bit early.
Sorry,
would have been great.
As you said that, I just started thinking about the Beavis and Butthead sketch.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is... He breaks in it and it doesn't matter. It's still so good.
Yeah.
He's a great host.
Yeah.
Another Janny type, like, does drama, does comedy.
Yes.
It's so wonderful.
Him as Ken's one of the funniest things in the world.
What's better? As a comic term, what's like...
Yeah, him in Big Short is fucking hilarious.
I think this is one of the best parts about that movie.
Yeah, I agree. So I think that would have been a great...
That's great.
2015... episode.
Yeah, that feels really good. Mine is really weird. This is where it starts. I'm like 32 and 40 is when I realize I've completely abandoned the sort of like this would ever happen, and now it's completely just like fantasy for me.
For sure.
It will not make much sense because I'm realizing my attachment to actors at this point in my age is like, oh yeah, that's a guy. Yeah, that's a girl.
Yeah.
Like I would, if anything, I'd be like, what if we could resurrect Serge Gainsbourg and he could host SNL? Like it doesn't get that fantastical, but I just start.
My next one is like I have one that's like kind of like that. It doesn't make any sense. It's a for me.
These are now exclusively for me, and my taste in comedies especially starts getting more niche and more specific, and I think about like that age, who was so important to me. It may not be for anybody, you know.
Yeah.
But so okay, this probably doesn't make any sense to you. Do you know who Joanne the Scammer is?
No.
Okay. I was working at 32, I believe. I was working at Super Deluxe, and this was... Do you remember this internet sensation at all?
No.
Oh my God, what's his actual name? Brendan Miller.
Uh-huh.
Brendan Miller is I'm gonna right now gender them as a man because I think that's how they're. I think they at this time I remember them being they're a gay man, queer man. At the time he was in Florida. He started doing this character, calling himself like I am a Caucasian woman, and he clearly is not a Caucasian woman.
Yeah.
And he was dressing like this, and he was doing this character on Instagram of like trying to how to run scams on rich white men, and they're all ridiculous, and it's just some of the most like incredible comedy writing that did not come from like New York, Chicago, or LA, you know? It was just like...
Well, this is when the internet becomes the internet.
Completely that.
Where people just start becoming famous that nobody knows. And like a guy like Jay Farrow can get on the cast of SNL.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. And To the folks at Superlux, to their infinite credit, I believe, sorry, it keeps coming up. My friend Jason Richards, who very good friend of mine, I'm not just gonna say he discovered Joanne the Scammer, but invited them to come on, and they kind of became a huge fixture for Super Deluxe.
Nice.
And a couple at Super Deluxe who met at Super Deluxe are married with 2 kids. Directed this incredible short film that I think Chelsea Peretti was in.
Oh, nice.
They lost their house in Altadena.
Ugh.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's just like this is this is what the story of LA is.
Yeah, it's
right?
people who were struggling in New York in the early 2000s, moved here, found a little bit of money working on things like Comedy Bang Bang when there was infusion of money in the early 2000s.
Yeah,
Got
they worked
TV
really
writing
fucking
jobs,
hard to make a small house happen for their family.
and then bought in Altadena and then gone.
Yeah, it was a place for millennials to start their families. Anyway, it was an incredible time to be at Super Deluxe and for this to be happening and watching like everyone obsessed with Joanne the Scammer and us being like, we can't believe Brandon and Joanne picked us as their home. We were enabling him. And it was the end of the content era where there was like money still there. But
For web series?
yeah, for like this entire company to fucking exist, the company never turned a profit. Never turned a profit.
That's crazy.
The reason it got shut down was because, probably for never turning a profit, but what had happened was Trump won, as you know, and he hated CNN's. Oh, did you not know? Did you not know about this?
What if all of my hosts were just Donald Trump?
Over and over again. He did such a good time. Had such a good time watching it.
My favorite is watching Pete Davidson talk about how he's pretty sure Donald Trump can't read. He's like, we hosted, and he was like, can we do this with less words?
Mr. Bean figured it out. Trump hated CNN so much that the parent company for Superlux was Turner.
Yeah.
Turner was in the middle of a merger, and Trump froze the merger sort of like indefinitely as president. And so every Turner subsidiary was like, do we get money anymore? What's going around? And he just dragged it out so long that Turner was like looking at their like, itemized list of things they're paying for. They're like, super what?
Yeah.
And then we're out of a job. But it was cool. We got to burn cash and do whatever the fuck we wanted.
Yeah.
And it was some of the coolest creative people in LA were working there. And a lot of people went on to have like
Kurt
amazing careers.
Braunholer talking about how he got audited because it was the biggest amount of money he'd ever been paid for something. And the government was like, this can't be right. Because like him and Kristen had like a show on there for a little bit.
There was a Super Deluxe that existed the first round when Funny or Die came out.
Yeah.
And that almost had nothing to do with us because it was still owned by Turner.
Yeah.
That went away. That was more of a Tim and Eric thing.
Yeah.
Super Deluxe. And then they were starting this sort of like, hey, BuzzFeed's very popular. We need to have a BuzzFeed. Like, well, we still own this name Super Deluxe. You want to just do that?
Yeah.
So we were like 2.0. I was involved in the 2.0, which was amazing. It was just one of the coolest gigs I ever had.
It'll probably come back again.
I'll be in my late 50s. So like, you want to come back? Anyway, Joanne the Scammer, fucking why not? This is the same level of, do you remember when everyone was like, make Deadpool host SNL? Everyone was like, fuck off. And then I was just really into Nico Case at the time.
Yeah.
Fucking this would be
Who doesn't love Canadian country?
This would be a terrible show for everybody but me.
Yeah.
I would have a great time with this show. Nico Case is one of the best voices in like indie alt country that exists.
Nice.
Fantastic. Let's round it out here, man. 40. Basically today.
Okay. It's changed since we've started this episode. Things that have gone on here have made me change my mind. I would say, so for me, this is 2 years ago, but Sandler, host. And I would say Kendrick Lamar, guest. And
it's a fire fucking show.
And here's why. Because SNL's always a little bit behind. So Kendrick Lamar should have been on in 2015 with To Pimp a Butterfly.
Yeah.
But he would clearly come on with now. And Sandler, we're in the Sandler Renaissance. This is like Uncut Gems Sandler. This is 100% fresh Netflix Sandler.
Yeah.
Like this is... Like I love how the story of Sandler has come back around where everyone's like, oh, we were wrong the whole time. The guy's a genius. Like he made one or two that we didn't really like, but he's been throwing heat this whole time. He makes great art house movies. He's made I think Adam Sandler has to make a serious movie every 5 years to remind people that he's better than all of us.
Yeah. And then he gets, then he gets Juice Bigelow. What's his name? Rob Schneider. Then he gets Rob Schneider to do a cowboy movie or something.
Yeah.
And all of America loves it. And we're like, oh boy.
Yeah. You
like,
got to help.
You put on fake teeth and make us anxious.
Yeah. But like I think this would be, because it's like they're doing, and it's, they're doing the throwbacks right now. Yeah.
Yeah. This is legitimately a fantastic show that I would like.
Yeah.
Watch
and
clips of the next day.
Kendrick Lamar live is insane. Ooh, actually, you know what? I'm going to pull Kendrick Lamar out. I'm going to go Tyler, the Creator.
Oh, Chromacopia has it to promote.
But back in this is Call Me If You Get Lost, Tyler, the Creator.
Oh, this is last year for you.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the show. And Tyler the Creator does sketch, does comedy. Yeah. Tyler the Creator should be a double host. Tyler the Creator should get the host musical guest.
Totally. Have you seen this clip of him going around where he was like, I used to post comedy, and then he had too many fans coming up to him quoting his
comedy,
jokes.
and he was like, no more funny.
No more funny stuff. Yeah.
For a year.
Like, imagine just being that good at both those things, right?
I know.
I am barely good at so many things. And that's I think the most I can ask for from this life. And he's like, oh man, the comedy's really slowing down my incredible music career.
Yeah. And he was like, I need to figure out how to be an amazing songwriter. And there's a great there's a Hulu show rap. I think it's of Rap Caviar, but it's one of those. And there's a whole Tyler the Creator episode about that process of him going, I gotta get great. And
I should watch that.
It's phenomenal. It's like him and Pharrell and like.
There's a rap history series on Netflix that I watched a few years back, which was so good.
It's so good.
I really recommend that. Yeah. I'm glad we're ending on mine because we can go through it really quick. It's incredibly stupid.
Okay.
Again, I have no attachment to actors, and I don't know. This is really. Do you know at Americana at brand memes?
Just the fact that you put as a host an @ symbol. I don't know who any of these are.
Okay. At Americana at brand memes is the joke account for the Glendale Galleria Americana mall.
You've gone full rogue on your own game?
Yeah, this doesn't make any sense. This doesn't make any sense. I completely acknowledge that.
Okay.
I was at a point where I'm just like, who is a funny thing that is also like... I can't really defend it. It doesn't make any sense. It's just been so funny to me for so long.
I think this could have just been your recommend at the end of the episode.
I truly don't believe I phoned it in. I just know that this is an absurd answer. And
I love it.
And does not warrant discussion. But I will say Turnstile is a fantastic Baltimore hardcore band that has done like a Tiny Desk concert. If you don't know them, you should get them. They're genuinely wonderful.
I'll check out the Tiny Desk concert on the drive home.
They're great. Turnstile is fantastic. Yeah, that's it. How do you feel about this? Do you have any closing thoughts?
Yes. Can we add one more?
Yeah.
For 45.
Okay. I don't have an answer for
I
me.
do. So I don't know if you know this about me, but one of my goals is to now not to be on the cast member or write on the show anymore. I want to host the show. That's like one of my career goals. So I specifically want to do the episode before the election, the next election, or the episode directly after the next election. Like that is my goal. And musical guest Billy Joel. Because that's about how long it'll take for that album he's making right now to come out. He released one new song and it's a fucking banger.
Is that the one where they did like de-aging him?
Yeah.
It's really good.
It's really sweet.
It's really good.
Touching.
Yeah,
if you haven't watched Turn the Lights Back On, go see it. So for me as a New York guy, Billy Joel, SNL.
Is your recommendation also the Billy Joel song?
I'll take it. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah. Go watch that music video.
It's genuinely very good.
Yeah.
Who's like girlfriend's son directed that? Because like a whole like behind the scenes of like, who's this young? It just feels like.
I think Billy Joel's did this interesting thing where recently some people, some like young music producer in LA, like got him to write a song after all this time by basically pestering him into doing it.
That's what I read. Yeah.
Where the kid was like, hey, let me look at some of your old lyrics, and then like sent him some stuff. and the two of them got together and they wrote the song. And
Is this like a Rick Rubin, Johnny Cash kind of thing?
I think it might kind of be that kind of thing.
Cool.
Where I think this kid's just like, hey man, you shouldn't have stopped making music. Let's make music again. And I can tell it's really impacted him because Bill, he stopped doing his MSG residency and now he's touring again.
Oh
and
shit,
he's
look at that.
And he's doing like 2 shows a month and he's going out with like Stevie Nicks and like
I saw
Sting and like other people.
Get Billy
too.
out there.
So I think there's going to be a new Billy Joel record, and I think it's going to be fucking really good. And I think we should get Jack Antonoff to produce that shit. And if Billy Joel's not available, I will take Jack Antonoff from the Bleachers to be my other musical guest. Big fan. Or Lola Young. I'm sure she'll have another record by then.
I have no recommendation for 45, but I'll host too. Why not? But quick recommendation for me, for folks, and this is just me. Just twiddling around at the evening when my son goes to bed when I'm not editing this podcast is I've gotten into embroidery. It's kind of cool. I did this just the last 2 nights when all the LA stuff started happening.
Freehand?
Yeah, freehand. This is the California poppy on my LA hat. I felt like it was appropriate to commemorate how much I do love this city, and I started just getting really into it. I have a whole little embroidery toolbox now.
Nice.
My wife thinks I'm kind of going trad wife, and that's not untrue.
You are nesting right now.
Yeah, I've also had like bread making phases, so there's a trad wife in me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I almost wore my Dodgers hat today too, but I got a haircut today for my wedding, and we're both wearing white pants. And I'm wearing the photo negative of your shirt.
This is the second. We're going to be dressing.
This is 2 episodes in a row. We've kind of worn
not
similar.
the last time.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe, like, follow us on Instagram.
And thank you for all the comments and stuff.
Yeah, and all
DMs.
the views on the first episode. Oh, and February 14th and 15th, I will be in Wilmington, North Carolina, doing stand-up at Dead Crow Comedy for Valentine's Day.
Okay, this is releasing.
And then May 2nd and 4th? No, 2nd and 3rd, May 3rd and 4th, something around there. You fucking look it up. I'll be at. I'll be where
you are.
I'll be back.
Burgeoning fans.
Yeah, I'll be back in St. Pete where I filmed my hour special, doing some shows.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Excited for you. How do you feel about this SNL game?
I love this. This was so fun.
It's way more exhausting than I thought it was going to be.
I don't think it was exhausting.
I mean, just like exhaustive.
Oh yeah.
It took a lot of thinking.
Yeah. I think this will be a fun thing to play with a guest, but I think we have to like cut out some years.
I think it was pretty long.
Perfect length for an episode, though.
Yeah, for us.
And I left the tote bags in my car, so we get to do that for another episode.
There you go. Content. We did it.
Thanks, guys. We love you. Stay safe. Bye.
Love you, LA.